Send some Momo. Join the millions of MTN Momo users all over Ghana and live life the brighter way. So just Momo it. MTN.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we're on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates dotted across Ghana's 16 regions. We're on Radio Max in Takrade, Amenuveve FM in Aflao, Ganga FM in Jirapa, KTU Radio in Koforidua, A1 Radio and Dreams FM in Bolgatanga. You can go digital. It's also on Spotify, Facebook, and myjoyonline.com app. This afternoon, government confirms notorious Galamsey Queen Aisha Wang indeed fled the country when she was first arrested in 2017 as state prosecutors built a case against her and 2 other Chinese nationals arrested for their involvement in illegal activities in Ghana.
Today we are being told in the court that she sneaked out of Ghana, which is false, a blatant untruth, an inaccurate statement which was made to the court. Very sad, most unfortunate.
We have a blow-by-blow account in court today as one of the suspects collapses before the judge. We'll give you details. And also, aviation security officer interdicted, his salary reduced for checking the national security minister. We have a response from the workers' union. Also, President Akufo-Addo says recent criticism of his government by former President Mahama demonstrates his difficulty in accepting the defeat he suffered in the last elections.
These statements, we've lost control. I understand. Mr. Mahama still has not been able to assimilate his defeat twice to the man who he had said could never come to power in Ghana.
And after a 2-day tour of the Volta region, the president says the region, a political World Bank of his opponents, has seen massive development.
We have something like 64 road projects in the Volta region, 9 of which have been completed. You have ongoing 49 others.
Also this afternoon, Executive Director of West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism urges the police to find innovative ways to deal with new security threats in the country. This comes as a security man is killed in Wa, bringing to 6 alleged murders recorded in the municipality within the last 5 months. In sports,
well, Graham Potter takes charge of his first game as Chelsea balls on day 2 of Joy UCL night. We'll bring you a preview of this game in 20 minutes.
And much later, centuries-old gold regalia taken from the Asante Kingdom by the British, likely to be returned to Ghana by the largest arts museum in the world. Victoria and Albert, we have more later in the bulletin. That's more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Many thanks for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Stay for details. We're digging now, and this afternoon, state prosecutors building a case against Galamsey Queen Aisha Wang. I've told an Accra Circuit Court she indeed fled the country when she was last arrested for illegal mining activities in 2017. Aisha has been charged together with 2 other Chinese nationals for engaging in unlawful mining and gold dealership activities in Ghana. Court was full of drama today when one of them collapsed and was subsequently sent to the hospital. We have all these and other details from the court for you, but we'll take you live there shortly. Our court correspondent Joseph Akable is on standby. But first, here's what we know about Aisha Wang so far.
Aisha Wang seemed to have broken all conventional norms when it comes to security and arresting corporates involved in the endemic menace of Galamsey. According to journalist Abdul Malik Kwekubako, she was arrested multiple times but managed to get herself freed. He alleged Aisha Wang had sex tapes of powerful people he used to blackmail such persons.
I have it on record, was arrested 3 times during the previous administration. 3 times she was released. She's a very powerful woman, operates more within the Asante region, especially Kumasi. She's got connections from my own checks, also in this administration. They have video and audio recording of people who are powerful.
Eventually, her cover was blown and she became a topic of national discussion after her arrest in 2018. But expectations that she will be fully prosecuted fizzled out when she was deported. As unpopular as that government decision was, then Senior Minister Yaa Osafo-Maafo defended the action.
A very good relationship with China. They're the main company that is helping develop the infrastructure system in Ghana. Is Sino Hydro. It's a Chinese company. Putting that lady in jail in Ghana is not going to solve your economic problem.
The country was taken by surprise when Aisha Wang found her way back into the country under circumstances that can best be described as mysterious. Attempted to change her details on a foreigner's Ghana card and was said to be still neck deep in illegal mining. Indeed, security analyst Professor Kwesi Enin alleges there may be more to Aisha Wang than just illegal mining.
Aisha is not an ordinary Chinese gangster. She's an agent of the state. She's a spy. And her expertise is in economic warfare, deliberately destroying our environment and destroy the cocoa crop.
While some, including the minority, have raised concerns about whether she was actually deported, President Akufo-Addo says he is not sure.
I'm not still sure whether she was in fact deported or whether she fled the country the first time and has now come back.
The Attorney General has vowed to prosecute Aisha Wang for her past and current crimes and is currently set to appear before a court in Accra.
That's a news desk report. Now come with me to the court. Court correspondent Joseph Akable has all the details for us. Joseph, let's start with the request that was made by the prosecutors.
It was a request that they be allowed to carry out investigations. And in carrying out that investigation, they required that Aisha Wang and 3 other Chinese nationals are kept in their custody. They told the court that they hold the view that should she be allowed to be on bail, she has the potential to interfere with investigations.
Now we're hearing from Nkrabea Efadate that the state prosecutors are building a case against Galamsey Queen Aisha Wang, and they've told the court that she indeed fled the country. Was that really what happened in court?
No, the prosecutors did not make that indication. In fact, that was a response from Mr. Efadate to what had transpired outside the courtroom with regards to the statements made by the president and also the comments from the information minister. And so in responding to that, he made a point that as far as he's concerned, they had a case in court. He was defending her. Then Attorney General in 2018 now enters a nolle prosequi. Then his client was told to come for a meeting. Before he realized, he was told she had been flown out of the country. And so he made the point that he thought that particular decision was wrong. And now he's again hearing in the public space that she's been alleged that she may have fled the country. And that is what he finds to be very problematic.
I am sorry that my Lord did not find favor with our submissions. I think that they are entitled to bail, but the law gives us the opportunity to try other areas. So I respect my Lord for the decision he has given. I accept it, but we'll go to chambers, and myself and my colleague lawyers will decide the way forward.
I mean, you had some concerns about how she was taken out of the country the first time. You said that there was some meeting, and before you heard, she had been flown out of the country. What exactly were those concerns?
Please, what happened was that I was defending Aisha Wang at High Court Criminal 1. Then, on the day that we were supposed to open our defense, the Attorney General entered nolle prosequi, which means don't prosecute. Then the Attorney General took my client away from the court. The next thing I heard the next day was that my client had been flown out of Ghana, back to China or wherever, but out of Ghana. I didn't understand why the Attorney General did not allow us to finish the case. I think it was a wrong move, but they took her out of Ghana. Today we are being told in the court that she sneaked out of Ghana, which is false, a blatant untruth, an inaccurate statement. which was made to the court. Very sad, most unfortunate.
You also had some concerns about the comments that you said the Attorney General made at the bar conference, and you said that if the rule of law should work, you believe that your client should have been granted bail.
Yes, I am told. I was not at the bar conference, but I'm told that the Attorney General says the cooperation of the judiciary is required to keep these people in custody. If it is true that my learned friend, the Attorney General, made such a statement, then it is most unfortunate. Most unfortunate. And in the light of that, the decision to refuse bail gives credence to what is being said, which is unfortunate, most unfortunate.
Well, Joseph, I know he's been talking about the weight of this particular case, but take me back into the circuit court for proceedings. I was told it was full of drama amidst collapse and some sent to the hospital. Tell us more.
Yes, it's one other Chinese national who is standing trial alongside Aisha Wang. Just some minutes before the judge delivered his ruling, before we realized she had just collapsed and she had to be taken by the policemen and rushed out of the courtroom straight to the hospital for treatment. But she was remanded nonetheless together with Aisha Wang and the other accused persons.
And Aisha Wang herself was in court?
Yes, she was present in court. In fact, they took a plea today because they couldn't take a plea on a previous occasion, and she pleaded not guilty to the charges that have been leveled against her. In terms of her demeanor, it's best to describe it as that of being pensive. There were moments where she seemed a bit stressed by the fact that the proceedings were dragging, and she put her head in her palms and leaned across the table where she was standing close to. And so that is it by way of her demeanor in the courtroom.
So we've heard from lawyer Emefa Apawu, her lawyer, who's been making some serious allegations, amongst others, the judicial cooperation with the Attorney General. But he's been talking about the weight of this particular issue as well. Tell us more.
Hello. Let me go take it out again.
I was asking about him making or downplaying this particular issue as it's been hyped in the media.
Yes, as far as he's concerned, it's not a felony. It's a simple offense that he thinks that it shouldn't be blown out of proportion in a manner that is being done in the media space. And he doesn't understand why that is happening. He insists that this is a simple crime that should take days to investigate and they should be done with it. And he doesn't understand what the general consensus in the media landscape is about.
My worry is that the media has overhyped this small matter of mining without license and doing mineral sales without license. It's a small matter. It happens every day in Ghana. So I don't see why the media should even write an editorial on this matter. And it is that which is creating a problem and giving all manner of insecurity to the issue.
But you have engaged there. Do you have a sense of how she got into the country?
I don't know how she entered Ghana, but I don't want to say that I want to indict Ghana Immigration Service, because any foreigner who comes to Ghana passes through our borders, and each of our borders are manned 24 hours by immigration officers. So immigration cannot tell me that they don't know how she entered Ghana.
Emefa Apawu, that's Aisha Wang's lawyer. Well, we know that she's said to have made some big cash operating as an illegal miner and gold dealer, acquiring properties with her wealth. Erastus Asaridonko went to Ahujo where she stayed. Here's what he found.
So before Miss Aisha Wang was sent back to her country, she was mainly into mining around Amasia Central, specifically Bepotinting. That is where her mines were. And after she returned to the country, I'm told by my sources that she has invested a lot into gold buying activities. And so she's also sponsoring some Ghanaian young miners to go into mining. Now, her mining site at Bepotinting has been sold to a Ghanaian miner. She herself is into a number of businesses sponsoring young people to buy gold for her. And then she's also into a brothel business, I am told, which is situated around Adiabeba in Kumasi. And she also operates a massaging business around Ahojo as well. So there are a number of businesses that are allegedly linked to Miss Aisha Wang, all located around Ahojo and Adiababa, to be precise. But then we are running some checks. It will need the Registrar General's Department to be able to tell us or pinpoint whether these businesses that we know of that are linked to her are really registered in her name.
That's my colleague Erastus Asari Donko. You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Let me now take you to the Upper West region. And the Executive Director of West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism is urging the police to find innovative ways to deal with new security threats in the country. This comes as a security man is killed in Wa, bringing to 6 alleged murders recorded in the municipality within the last 5 months alone. 60-year-old father of 5, Badigbe Kwame, on duty at the Wa Star Standard International School, failed to return home after close of work on Monday. Our correspondent Rafiq Salam has more.
Then holding classes, chasing the children that we said this was exercise spaces so that we could call the parents, because some of them, the parents do bring them.
Parents and guardians rushed to Star Standard International School to pick their wards following invasion of school by machete-wielding persons believed to be blood relations of school's night security, Badigbe Kwame, who's been declared missing since Monday. Maze of persons from his native Chere formed a search party and stormed the school, thereby bringing fear and panic among the teachers and their pupils. One of the leaders of the search party, Sufyan Idris, explained that the invasion is neither to harm the teachers nor the pupils.
But at least we are thinking that people who perpetrated that are not people that are very normal or having a very human face of issues. So one cannot be tracing such issues with their hands.
60-year-old Badigbe Kwame failed to return home after close of work on Monday. There was no sign of him at the corner on Monday morning, but blood stains were dotted all over the school's compound.
He lives here. So that is where the case started, and they brought him to the finally do away with him. There was some blood on this list. Right?
That's Rafiq Salam's report. We can now hear from the Executive Director for West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism, Mumuni Mukhtar, who says immediate action is needed.
It's a reality that is happening. If you go in the eastern part of Savannah region, we are also recording such incidences of kidnapping activities going on. So it's a big worry, and it's a worry for all of us. The important thing we need to look at is what are the motivations for these things? Of course, generally, money is often a big motivation. Ritualistic activities or ritual purposes are often part of it. But we're yet to uncover the reality of the motivations for these particular incidences that are going on in Wa. Of course, we can commend them for the many measures they are taking in dealing with these things. They could be overwhelmed sometimes, but we need to be able to find very innovative ways and practical ways dealing with these new trends that we are looking at, new security threats. Because for a fact, the idea or reality of kidnapping is a new thing, it's a new reality within our security mix.
Now, let me take you to the airport where a security officer at the Ghana Airports Company Limited has been interdicted for conducting a pre-boarding search on the National Security Minister. In a letter dated September 8, the Ghana Airports Company Limited explained that Awudu Basit's search of Albert Kandapa at the VVIP lounge at the Kumasi Airport was embarrassing. My colleague Elton Brobe has a copy of that letter, joins us in studio. Elton, what does it say?
So if I saw this on social media this morning, and the content of it has it that, according to the reports, this is the Ghana Airports Company in the letter to the security officer. You are assigned to perform airside patrol duties at the Kumasi Airport on September 8th, and you saw the Minister for National Security emerging from the VVIP lounge to board Africa World Airline flight at 2:30 p.m. It was reported that you approached the Honorable Minister and demanded to conduct pre-boarding search on him in the open frontage of VVIP lounge, which ended up embarrassing the Minister. In view of the negative impression it casts on the company's image and integrity, management has decided to investigate the circumstances leading to this incident. And in line with Article 17E of the collective agreement, we notify you of your interdiction from Friday, September 9, pending the completion and investigation into the matter. We advise that you shall be paid 2/3 of your salary during the period of interdiction. This is signed by R.S. Tego, who is the Group Chief Executive for Human Capital and Office Services.
And we've been hearing from the Workers' Union and also in the last few minutes from the Ghana Airport Company Limited.
Well, so this is dated today, September 14, and it's addressed to the Division Union. We acknowledge receipt of your letter dated 9 September on the above subject to the Airport Company Limited. And you're saying that whilst affirming the management prerogative to act in line with Article 17 of the collective agreement, we advise management to reconsider the interdiction of Officer Basit following further consultation and facts which have since come to our attention. We confirm that the Committee of Inquiry shall proceed with its mandate spelled out in the conveying order. And this is signed by Pamela Damson Tete, who is the Managing Director of the Ghana Airport Company. And what we are picking is that the interdiction has been removed, so Basit is back to work.
Okay, thank you very much, Elton. This is the Midday News. So top story so far, lawyer for Galamsey Queen Aisha Wang claims state prosecutors have confirmed to him that notorious Galamsey Queen Aisha Wang indeed fled the country when she was first arrested in 2017. When we return, we have sport, and President Akufo-Addo says recent criticism of his government by former President Mahama demonstrates his difficulty in accepting the defeat he suffered in the last elections.
These statements, we've lost control. I understand. Mr. Mahama still has not been able to assimilate his defeat twice to the man who he had said could never come to power in Ghana.
And also centuries-old gold regalia taken from the Asante Kingdom by the British likely to be returned to Ghana by the largest arts museum in the world, Victoria and Albert. We have details of that. Please stay with us.
I bet you thought you've seen it all. You must have thought you've watched it all. Gomorrah is a new exciting series about the conflict that rises between the wealthy and the poor. Watch Gomorrah exclusively on Aquaba Magic, DSTV channel 150, Go TV channel 101, and Aquaba Magic Ebusian, DSTV channel 149, and Go TV channel 108. With as little as 50 Ghana cedis on DSTV access and 25 Ghana cedis on Go TV value. Gomorrah. Emre Dane.
Hey, transactions in Kwahu beeping. Not dead. Charlie, come on, issue. Right, be mumu pet way if you make us smile small. Smile. Ah, guy way. Bro, I say if you chop 5K every week, sake of MTN Momo Manto. Hey, sir, tell me more.
Momo Month is back and bigger than before. This time, we're giving you several reasons to smile. Simply download and install the Momo app. Earn more points as you use it. Send Momo. Pay for goods and services using the QR code or merchant ID. Buy airtime or data from your own wallet. And you could win up to 5,000 Ghana cedis every week. Achieve your weekly targets and double your points accumulation. Dial *170# to check your points. TNCs apply. Please note that all winners will only be called by the official MTN number 0244 300,000 to redeem your prizes.
MTN.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's do sports. Musbao, take us away.
Well, Chelsea face RB Salzburg on day 2 of Joy UCL night, and Graham Potter takes charge of his first game as Chelsea boss since his appointment last Thursday. Chelsea are currently bottom of Group E, leveling pressure on Potter, who will be in his first ever Champions League game. He can't wait to get started.
My experiences have just been as a supporter in terms of Champions League level. Obviously, I had my Europa League experience with Östersund, so going to Galatasaray was a fantastic occasion, winning there. PAOK as well, getting through there, going through the Europa League groups was a fantastic experience in European football. But you're right, this is an amazing evening for us, for all of us. I think it's really, really exciting. We're super excited for it. At the same time, you can imagine we've been trying to prepare a team. We've been trying to focus on the game, getting to know all the players, getting to know everyone at the training ground. But there's no denying we're really looking forward to it. It's a fantastic opportunity.
Graham Porter there, and Fencho Tahir will be your commentator today on Hit 103.9 FM and later on Joy when the game starts at 6:55 p.m.
Can't wait for that. Now, let me take you to the Volta region where President Akufo-Addo has wrapped up his two-day tour. And he says recent criticism of his government by former President Mahama leaves him with the conclusion that the ex-president is finding it difficult to accept the electoral defeat he suffered in the last election. Addressing the 2022 edition of the Yam Festival celebrated by the Asogli state, Mr. Mahama said the government has lost the fight against corruption.
This government, the NPP government, has completely lost control of the fight against corruption. President Akufo-Addo, in his inaugural address, promised to protect the public purse. Today, even that public purse cannot be found. The revelations in the Auditor General's report for 2021 is simply a microcosm of the real extent of the seeming institutionalization of corruption under this administration.
And President Akufo-Addo has fired a response saying this criticism has all the elements that Mr. Mahama is finding it difficult to accept the outcome of the last elections.
I express confidence in our ability to master the situation and bring our country back again. So these statements, we've lost control, I understand. Mr. Mahama still has not been able to assimilate his defeat, twice to the man who he had said could never come to power in Ghana. And I think that every night when he goes to bed, he's consumed about the man who has not just come back, but given him a good whipping on two separate occasions. Won a landslide in 2016. And again, decisive margin in 2020. He's never got the figures that I've got in elections in Ghana. He knows that significant progress and achievement has been made, and that it is necessary for him and his.
Well, the president also refuted claims that development projects in the Volta region have stalled.
One Hohoi is the one seat we've had amongst the 18 members of seats in the Volta region. But nevertheless, I think that if you look at the roads, we have something like 64 road projects in the Volta region, 9 of which have been completed. You have ongoing 49 others have been awarded and are ongoing. You have up to something like 8 bridges that are being constructed in various parts of the region.
President Akufo-Addo, and he subsequently wrapped up that tour of the Volta region. It was a 2-day tour. Back to Greater Accra region, and our Clean Ghana campaign is on because it's a Wednesday. Michael Ashali has just returned from cleaning Accra. What did you do today?
So we did a lot. This will be probably one of the biggest campaigns that the AMA is running. Saturday, they are marking World Cleanup Day. And if you've been to Agglomeration Market before, you'd see how it's riddled with filth. And they are hoping that every single trader will come in their numbers Saturday to clean up the place. And they are hoping that after Saturday, Agglomeration will become one of the cleanest markets in the Greater Accra region.
Sustainably. Okay, thank you very much, Michael. Now let's talk about gold. I'm sure you love gold too, because the Asante gold regalia seized by the British over a century ago are likely to be returned to Ghana by the Victoria and Albert Museum in the UK, the largest in the world. The museum's director, Tristram Hunt, warns to losing regulations on restituting artifacts looted by British forces in the 19th century. There's more in this report.
The Victoria and Albert is the world's leading museum of arts and design. It houses a collection of over 2.27 million objects. According to the Arts newspaper, the greatest part of the Victoria and Albert Asante collection comprises 13 pieces of looted Asante court regalia sold by the British Army through the London Crown jeweller Gerard. They include a decorated gold pictorial soul disc shaped like a flower, which would have been worn by priests involved in the ritual purification of the king's soul. There's also a pear-shaped pendant, either worn or possibly attached to a state sword or stool. The remaining pieces of regalia are of gold. The British Museum's collection of Asante objects is much larger, including 105 items that were seized in 1874. Of these, 83 were purchased from the Crown agents for the colonies, 12 from Gerard and 10 elsewhere. A further 12 pieces were acquired after an 1896 raid. In 1974, the centenary of the looting, the then Asantehene Opokuwari II asked for the return of the regalia and other items removed from Ghana by British Expeditionary Forces in 1874, 1896, and 1900. Although the claim was made nearly 50 years ago, it now looks likely that the Victoria and Albert will be taking the bold step of leading the way in acceding to this request.
And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News. For our Drive Safe campaign, though, make sure you watch for kids. Children and animals have a habit of suddenly popping out from between parked cars and into roadways. If you're driving in a residential neighborhood with kids present, watch carefully and slow down. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. An aviation security officer interdicted salary reduced for pre-boarding search of National Security Minister. We are told he's been reinstated. Also, I cannot say if Aisha Wang was escorted on her way to China upon Nkrumah. And also, public caution against 17 unlicensed investment entities. Read more for yourself. Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil is up next. I am Emefa Apawu. Many thanks for your company.